Was the current god of the rain actually revealed a long time ago already? One of the biggest topics being discussed in the latest manga chapter is the rain god. Did you know that during the Skypiea Arc, specifically in chapter 287, Kalgera's daughter Moose already introduced the idea related to the rain god? Along with it, she also revealed the god of the sun, the god of the forest, and the god of the earth. What makes this even more interesting is that Oda rarely introduces ancient gods without a future payoff. That's exactly why many fans believe these gods are not just myths, but actual legendary figures or devil fruits connected to the Void Century itself, and because the latest chapter brought up the topic about the god of the rain once again. In this video, we're going to find out who is currently or probably the next rain god. Yes, I mentioned both the present and the future rain god because it's possible that someone has already eaten or is still going to eat the rain god devil fruit, since only now are we finally getting clues about it. Just to clarify, just like Joy Boy who was possibly the sun god Nika during his era, and currently Luffy is now the sun god, the same idea could also apply to the rain god. Zaza was the rain god in the past, and now we're going to identify who will represent him in the present era. And if this theory is true, then it could mean that every god mentioned in Skypiea eventually reincarnates through a chosen devil fruit user in every generation. Now then, let's begin this topic. So, if you've already watched our previous video about Sanji versus Rain God, then you already know that we assumed Dragon would be the one representing the god of the rain. And because more evidence was added in the latest chapter, it now looks even more likely that Dragon really did eat this devil fruit. What's even crazier is that Oda has intentionally hidden Dragon's powers for more than 2 decades now. And usually in One Piece, whenever Oda hides a character's abilities for that long, it's because the reveal is extremely important to the endgame story. So first, why are we even saying that Dragon is the rain god? Because during chapter 100, at the moment when Buggy was about to execute Luffy, we saw rain suddenly start pouring down. Aside from the rain, we also witnessed lightning and extremely powerful winds. All of those things happened while Dragon was present. That's why many people theorize that Dragon's devil fruit could also be related to weather manipulation. And if you think about it, weather itself represents freedom. Storms cannot be controlled by the world government. Just like Dragon himself who openly opposes them. Personally, based on how the story of One Piece has been progressing, we can clearly see that the most powerful devil fruits are no longer just Logia or Paramecia, but mythical Zoans instead. Kaido himself ate a mythical Zoan. The Gorosei also appear to possess mythical Zoan forms, and many of the strongest characters being revealed right now are users of mythical Zoan devil fruits. That's why it's highly possible that Dragon's devil fruit is also a mythical Zoan, especially since he has the guts to directly oppose the world government. And if Dragon truly possesses a godly mythical Zoan, then that would perfectly explain why even the Marines treat him as the world's worst criminal. Not because of raw strength alone, but because his existence directly threatens the balance of the world. As for the latest evidence supporting the idea that Dragon is the god of the rain, we can get that from what Gillingham said. He mentioned something about those who were born in Mary Geos. According to them, the very idea of rain is terrifying. And obviously, the reason is floods and disasters caused by water. That's also why the celestial dragons live at the highest point in the world, the red line. But what if there's an even deeper meaning behind this fear? What if during the Void Century, the rain god once caused a massive flood that nearly destroyed the celestial dragon's ancestors? That could explain why they fear rain so much even after 800 years. Could this be the reason why Dragon is so brave and confident that he can defeat the world government? Because he ate the Hito Hito no Mi, model, rain god. Maybe he can manipulate rain itself, the very thing that the celestial dragons fear the most. And remember, rain is not just water. It can create storms, hurricanes, lightning, floods, and even destroy entire kingdoms. If that's true, then this would definitely become an amazing combo alongside Loki and Luffy during the final war. Dragon would handle the devil fruit users under Imu's command. Loki would deal with giant creatures like the Gorosei. And of course, Luffy would take on the main villain himself, Imu-sama. Some fans even believe that the final war could literally split the red line apart through the combined powers of these gods. And our final candidate for becoming the rain god is Nami. Just like Dragon, who was introduced while it was raining, Nami also had a very similar situation. If you think about it, Nami was one of the very first members of the Straw Hat Pirates. But until now, we still don't fully know her real flashback. What we only know is her story during the time she lived in Kokoyashi village. But her true origin and where she actually came from still remains unknown. And knowing Oda, hidden origins are usually reserved for extremely important characters connected to the bigger mysteries of the world. Now, the biggest evidence we've gathered that Nami could become the rain god can be seen during the Zou arc, specifically in chapter 812, where Wanda gave Nami a special outfit to wear. At that moment, Nami felt like the clothes must have belonged to someone very important. And yes, according to Wanda, that was true. In fact, it was considered one of the national treasures of Zou Island. What makes this suspicious is that Oda could have given Nami any random outfit, but instead he specifically highlighted its importance in the story. Now, if you pay close attention, Zaza's outfit contains many beads, which obviously symbolize rain since he is the rain god. Could this be foreshadowing for Nami wearing those clothes? Those countless beads could actually be an indication that she will become the rain god in the future. And honestly, Nami's natural talent for understanding weather has always felt almost supernatural. Even before getting the climate act, she could already predict storms better than experienced pirates. Maybe this wasn't just talent after all, but subtle foreshadowing from Oda since the very beginning. And if you're still not convinced by that evidence, then let me give you one more. We all know that there is a giant whale on Zou Island. It's considered sacred, and even Odin and Roger felt something mysterious from it. Now, if we compare that whale to the similar whale shown in the Elbaf mural, what do you notice? There are raindrops in the background, right? Could this be the connection between the outfit Nami wore, which may have once belonged to the rain god, and the whale of Zou Island that later connects to the mural? And what if the whale itself is actually waiting for the return of the rain god? Just like Zunesha waited for Joy Boy for hundreds of years. Anyway, Nami's origins remain incredibly mysterious even after all these years. The Vivre card confirmed that Belmere found Nami during a war when she was only 1 year old, but Oda deliberately never revealed where she was born. The same mystery exists around Dragon. We know he is Luffy's father, Garp's son, and a former Marine, yet his powers remain completely hidden. What makes this theory even more interesting is the Japanese rain sound effect Za. When going back through the manga, the very first time Oda used this sound effect was in Chapter 8, the chapter titled Nami Appears. In that chapter, Nami senses a dangerous weather shift before anyone else, and moments later a storm suddenly appears exactly as she predicted. The moment rain begins falling, Oda uses the Za sound effect for the first time in the series. That could be coincidence, but it also happens during the very first showcase of Nami's unnatural weather intuition. There's another important moment too. When Belmere found Nami and Nojiko, the rain sound effect used during that scene was Zaza once again. Oda may have been quietly connecting Nami to rain symbolism for decades, but strangely, the same sound effect also connects to Dragon. In certain panels, the way Za is stylized almost resembles giant X marks, immediately reminding fans of Dragon's tattoo. And importantly, Dragon did not have that tattoo when he appeared as a young Marine, meaning it was added later for a reason. Maybe the tattoo itself symbolizes the rain god or connects to some ancient ritual involving the fruit. Suddenly Dragon's storms and Nami's weather instincts start feeling connected. Vivi once even said that Nami doesn't simply read the weather, but seems to feel it naturally. She said this after Nami predicted a cyclone while seriously ill, despite Grand Line weather changing unpredictably without warning. Nami's abilities genuinely feel supernatural at times. Still, despite all these clues, Nami being the rain god does not completely make sense yet. Monkey D. Luffy only became the sun god after eating the Hito Hito Nami model, Nika, which means these divine titles are tied directly to devil fruits. Nami does not currently possess one. That leaves only one possible explanation if she truly becomes the rain god later in the story. Maybe nobody has eaten the rain god fruit yet. That idea is completely possible because Nika's fruit remained hidden for centuries too. One possible location for the fruit could be Weatheria. What if the island's weather technology is actually based on lineage factors connected to the Zaza fruit itself? That would explain why Weatheria remained hidden for so long. Maybe they are secretly protecting both the technology and the fruit to prevent anyone from flooding the world again. The story constantly hints that the ancient world may have once sunk beneath the sea, with clues like Noah, underwater ruins, and Water 7 continuously sinking. Nami spent 2 years training in Weatheria, meaning she may already know secrets connected to all of this. If she eventually obtains the rain god fruit later in the story, then her becoming Zaza would finally make sense. Until then, her role feels more connected to navigation and weather prediction than actual divine powers. Anyway, those are our 2 candidates for becoming the god of the rain. So for you guys, who among these 2 do you think has the highest chance of eating the godly devil fruit, the Hito Hito Nomi model, rain god? Or if you have another character in mind, don't be shy and leave it down in the comments section below so we can talk about it together. Personally, Dragon still feels like the strongest candidate right now, but Nami's hidden connections are becoming harder and harder to ignore as the story progresses. And if you enjoyed this topic, don't forget to hit that like button because your likes really help our channel a lot. And of course, don't forget to press that subscribe button as well so you won't miss future One Piece theories, breakdowns, and hidden details. So that's all for today.